Okay, everyone. So while Carl is sharing our program for today, our agenda for today, just wanted to say a brief thank you for joining us. And we're really happy to have selected the teams and that we can start moving along with the project. Just maybe before we go into the content, some quick organizational matters. I think I have received the signed contracts from Latin America and from Asia, also with the banking. So we will process that really soon. But I'm still pending for the Anglophone Africa. So if I can have the banking information and the signing contract, this will help so we can have all of the regions officially, let's say, contracted, although we have finished this process. We are recording, as I said, this meeting of today, and we encourage you, of course, always to share this material. We will send you the links and the information once we have that. And we encourage you to share with other actors in the region, with other people who might be involved in this study, let's call it a study or project at the later stages. And yeah, maybe Carl, do you want to say something about the agenda or anything else about how we proceed today?
Yeah, I can just go through the agenda. It's been circulated to everyone. So we basically, now that we have the teams on board, we have made sort of three webinars where we talk quite rapidly after each other to get things up and moving, because it had been a little bit longer, the process of selecting the teams than we had anticipated. So we are trying to get up to speed. And basically what we want to do here, the first, we have had one webinar where we were looking at the literature, and most of you were not in the team at that time. So we sent you the link and you could go through it in your own good time to see, to get up to date with that one. And then the second webinar is basically for the teams to meet each other and for everybody to meet and greet, and then to have a discussion of what is this project actually about, and how do we go about selecting relevant cases in each of the three regions. And then in the next webinar coming up a week from now, the idea is that you will have tried to identify relevant cases from each of your regions, and maybe made a pre-selection of the ones you found most relevant, and give a short introduction to them, so we can see what are the interesting digital extension service providers who works at scale in your region. And then
maybe just one addition to that, Carl, is that yeah, we are aware that 1 week might seem a little bit short for that, but the idea is that you already know a lot of these solutions that are ongoing in the region, right? So they should be active in the region. And many times these are apps or digital solutions that people know or speak of. And of course, that we only in a second stage, we will look more deeply into them. In this list, Carl also circulated some that we know that are working in the region. So then maybe it's really for next week, we're thinking of a pre-screening of an initial selection.
Yeah, thank you, Ingrid. And it's just, if we don't push these things, you know, once you have a deadline, you tend to work towards it, and it's not going to be a complete list, and it might not be the final selection of the cases, but it's to initiate the process in the different regions. So, and then after that, we will have a more detailed discussion on how do we actually carry out the study. What is it we want to look at in more details? So that is the third in the row here, but the fourth global webinar. And after that, we anticipate that in each region, you will start already now organizing a sort of a regional awareness and get together workshop where you internally speak in the region with the different stakeholders. So also with the providers of digital solutions, and talk to them and see how you can move this study forward. So some of it will happen here at the global level, and a lot of the actual work that happen out in the region. So what we try to do here at the global level is just to have a common platform to work on, and then during the next a bit more than a year, we will just meet regularly to sort of learn from each other and inspire each other with experiences from the different regions. So we have sort of a collective learning process. But a lot of the data collection and studying in more details of the different digital tools, that will happen in the regions. So I think that should be enough for now, and then maybe we start with the round of presentations. Ingrid and I can start, and then we will go around the clock. So my name is Carl Larsen. I am the Executive Secretary of GFRAS Global Secretariat. We are 3 people in the Global Secretariat: Ingrid, one who is not present called Yup, and I. And since COVID, we work virtually, so we actually sit in 3 different countries. And I have been with GFRAS for 3 years now, in the capacity as the Executive Secretary at the Global Secretariat. And before that, I have worked with Overseas Development Aid for 3 decades, mainly in Africa, but also some in Asia, not really in Latin America. Ingrid, over to you.
Thank you. Well, I'm Ingrid Oliveira, also at the GFRAS Secretariat. I am based in between Switzerland and Austria. I've had the pleasure to meet some of you, but not all. I've been with GFRAS since 2018. Carl and I will be your focal points for this on the GFRAS Secretariat. So if there is anything also that is unclear or any information that you need, please just contact us. You should have all of that, our contact information anyway. And also just one other organizational thing. For those of you who still did not send the complete list of actors or people who will be involved in this process, project, please do, because that's what we will use to keep you all informed, to send you all the material, to share everything that we receive. So this will be very important. And I'm just very happy to work with all of you. I'm mostly doing communication work and support for GFRAS, but any project support also is necessary. I will call the next person on the list here that I see, and it's Arlene. If I did not say it wrong, Arlene, are you there?
Otherwise, move on.
Yeah, we cannot hear you, so maybe you can try. If there's a problem with the microphone or something, people are also free to use the chat. Maybe that's just another note. Feel free to use the chat for any comments or any questions that you might have if you don't want to lose them. Then I will call on Adi.
Adi?
This does not seem to work, so anyone who Siti, I can see you, so I will pass it on to you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening from Indonesia and good afternoon, yeah, in Switzerland and many other area in the region. So my name is Siti Amana. You could call me Ibu Aan because my short name is Aan. So I am from Indonesia, and today I'm the chairperson for Rural Advisory Services in Southeast Asia. And here I'm the leader for the team from Asia, comprising the 3 countries actually, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysia. But for the study, because it's very limited time and also a small study, so we focus on the Philippines and Indonesia. But I also invite Nur Sidaman, so from Malaysia, so we can exchange learning together. Thank you. So I should take, for the next turn would be Danilo Saavedra. Danilo Saavedra. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. In Central America right now is good morning. My name is Danilo Saavedra. I'm from Nicaragua. I am extensionist for 3 years. I has been working in Central America to analyzing the system extension system service. My experience is only research and extension service, and I feel very proud to be the part of the team. My expectation about this job this job is to do a good job and to promote digital innovation and to be a part of the GFRA and Relacer in this moment. Thank you very much. I will continue to work, talking with you, and I invite Arlene Flores to present here. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Yes, we are here representing the PhilisNet, but of course we are under Dr. City of RAS, the Philippines, and we're very much interested as well to also establish what is the status of digital extension in the Philippines. So we have also shared what is the status so far of the Philippines with Doc City, and in her presentation, I suppose that she will be presenting what is the status in Asia, she being the representative of our team. So Arlene Flores from PhilisNet Philippines. Thank you.
Virginia, maybe you go next to stay in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, hi, good evening everyone. I'm Virginia Cardenas, one of the focal persons of GFRAS. Formerly also a member of the board for 9 years. Now I'm focusing as member of the board of APIRAS. Right now I'm currently involved with the Agricultural Training Institute of the Department of Agriculture of the Philippines as their technical experts for extension and advisory services. That keeps me busy nowadays. Thank you. I like to invite next Dr. FC Uriga from Indonesia.
Thank you, Dr. Virginia Cardenas. Hi, everyone. Introduce myself. My name is FC Euriga. I am from Russia as a program officer, but I also now as a government officer, assistant professor in Polytechnic of Agricultural Development under Ministry of Agriculture. And I'm very excited to be involved in this project because I am also one of innovator of top 99 innovator in Indonesia for Jurutani apps. Jurutani apps is an application in digital extension, and this is also published in FAO last year. That's all. Thank you. And for next turn, maybe I can invite Leni Eugenia. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, FC. My name Lani Eugenia. I am a part of RASEA and also IFRAS, the initial country fora of Indonesia. I have been since 2011 in service for farmers, community-based organization called Wantani, Indonesian Women Farmers and Rural Women Organization, and also Indonesian Farmers and Fisher Society Organization, IFSO. So I'm very exciting to join this study with you all. Thank you. So I think now I turn to Daniel Ankra please. Your floor.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, a very good afternoon to you all. I'm Daniel Ankra from Ghana and the team lead for Anglophone Africa. So Anglophone Africa is made up of Ghana, Nigeria, and Uganda. I'm with 6 technologies and also work with the University of Ghana, specifically with the Department of Agricultural Extension, where I teach and research in extension and advisory services. I'm really very happy to be here and also to be part of this assignment. I look forward to a very engaging service. Okay, so I turn over to Dr. Godfrey Onangwa. Thank you.
Dr. Onagwa, if you can hear us. If not, whoever can hear us and can.
Onagwa, are you there? Onaga, Godfrey. Okay, then I will nominate Akoto then. Over to you, Akoto.
So thank you very much, Dr. Ankra. And a very good day to everyone on this platform. We are happy to be part of this team looking at the innovative technologies in digitalization in Africa. I'm from 6 Technology, working along with Dr. Ankra, Dr. Godfrey Onagwa, and Elizabeth Asimwe in Uganda. Looking forward to a very engaging opportunity. Thank you.
And you're from Nigeria, right, Akoto?
From Ghana.
Oh, sorry, you're from Ghana also. Apologies.
Yes.
Introduce myself. I'm Marisa Paredes. I'm from Ecuador. I work in the Latin American Network for Rural Extension Services, the RELACER. As program officer, I've been working here for around 10 years with different type of initiatives and projects around extension in the region. It's a pleasure to be working with you all in this initiative.
Okay, I'm Nosida from Malaysia, lecturer and researcher from University Putra, Malaysia. Thank you for involving me in this project. My research interest also in digitalization in agriculture extension. So nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. It's Andrew, you want to come next? If you're in a place where you can speak. Andre Raso from AFAS.
I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. Introduce, I'm Adi Firmansyah. I'm a student at the IPB Graduate School from Indonesia. I'm happy to be involved in this research and the focus of my studies in agricultural extension. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a Paul Asciutto. I don't think we have heard from you. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Well, thank you very much. My name is Paula Chu, and I'm a member of the African crew. Is Dr. Daniel Ankra, and then after.
Thank you. Welcome. Where are you from, Paul?
I'm from Ghana.
Ghana. Okay. Thank you. We have a Malala Onisau. Would you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. So I am Malal from Madagascar. I am a member of YPART here in Madagascar. Also, I am a temporary lecturer at the University of Antananarivo and a researcher at the Center of Economics for Development and Agriculture at the Economics Department of the University of Antananarivo too. Also, actually, I'm involving at a Malagasy association called the FTA, or Farming and Technology for Africa, who is working on digitization and agriculture now here in Antananarivo, Madagascar. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Very nice broad representation. I am losing track. Alia, have you been presenting yourself?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much to Mr. Carl. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Alia Nur Syahira. I'm from Indonesia. I am first graduate from IPB University, and now I'm working with Mrs. Siti Amanah in Rural Advisory Services of Southeast Asia as a staff intern of media communication. And I'm so happy to get this opportunity to join the study and also to join the team. And I hope that I can learn so many things with the program. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you also. Rosaline or Paul, would you introduce yourself, please? Seems not to be the case. Samson Nisheto for AFAS. Would you introduce yourself, Samson?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Working for African Forum for Agriculture Advisory Service, AFAS.
Thank you, Ishito. A little, Samson, a little bit of broken line, but we got it. And are you based in Uganda? Anyway, the line is not that strong here. Who are we missing?
Eric or Rani?
Eric, please.
Sorry, my virtual background is, sorry about that. Yes, a pleasant day to everyone. I'm Eric Palakpak. I'm here in my capacity as an ex-official board member of the PILIASNet from the Philippines. I also work as Chief of the Knowledge Management Division of the Philippine Carabao Center from the Department of Agriculture. Thank you.
Very welcome indeed. I will just ask people who have not introduced themselves to introduce themselves. There are too many that I can keep track of everyone, so apologies for that.
Hello, Carl. Good afternoon. Yeah, okay. Carl, my name is Rani Mutiara from Indonesia. I'm from Russia, and I'm a vice of the chair of the Indonesian Commission for Agricultural Extension. Thank you. Nice to meet you for all, and I'm happy to discuss with all of you at this moment. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Anyone else who have not been introduced, who has the capacity to speak? Some might not have the mics to work. And please come forward.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rosalind.
Good afternoon. I'm Rosalind Paul.
Sorry, Rosalind. Yes, please.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. I'm Rosalind Paul from Ahmadu Bello University, ABU Zaria. Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna State, Nigeria.
Welcome.
I'm an
Sorry.
agri communicator.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Good to have Nigeria on board also.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else who have not been presenting themselves yet?
Okay. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Please, Olivia, go ahead.
Ok. Moi, c'est Mopom Loris Olivia. Je suis ingénieure en informatique et certifiée en innovation technologique. Et je suis passionnée de l'agritech. Donc, et je viens du Cameroun.
Thank you very much. Also very good to have Cameroon on board.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else who have not?
Yeah, good morning, Carl. I am Nestor Ngwambe.
Hi, Nestor.
Hi, Nestor. Good to have you on board. You are also from Cameroon. Can you present yourself, please?
Economics, very passionate on innovative extension approach, including digitalization and experience capitalization, knowledge management. I'm very glad to be part of this study because it's another challenge that we get involved, and we can assure you that at the end of the period, we will meet your expectation. I'm very sure with the team we have there. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Happy that we have several people from Cameroon. Very good. Anybody else?
I think we might have covered everyone.
Okay.
I know it was a long round of introductions, but we're also very happy to see so many new faces and have the chance to exchange with everyone. We have been talking about this project for a long time, and the regional focal points are the people representing the regional networks have been long engaged in that, but we are also happy to see on board the people in the various countries and country fora, the people who are closer to the activities on the ground. And this is really what will also make this project so interesting. So very nice to see the diversity in regions, in languages, and gender, and welcome to all of you. Should we put up the agenda again, Carl? So
I can do that. Yes, 2 seconds. If I can find it, yeah. Sorry.
So we had our round of introductions, and we're really on time. So it's also nice to see that we managed to keep that. And our objective here in this next half an hour is to have a discussion on, or a conversation on, what is it that we want to get out of this study. We know that we have a duty, you were selected and you agreed to join it based on a series of deliverables that we have to have. But we also thought that it would be good to have some space to discuss how do we want to go about it, what is important for each region to talk about and to understand. And maybe what we could start, or we could open this session with we made, and this is very last minute, so we made a short video or a video with a summary of the project, with, let's say, a presentation of what it is about, how it will function, and please bear in mind that this is the first draft. We finished it this morning, and we are looking very much forward to feedback from you. So if there's anything you would like to say or suggest also to the video, feel free to either just say or to just write me. And I will share that with all of you now, and then we continue from there. Is that a good suggestion, Carl?
Yeah, excellent. Please, I'll just put the link also in the chat so people can
perfect.
see it on their own time later on, but please show it now.
Perfect. So let's go with it. For digital innovations and solutions, beginning, sorry.
GFRAS is pleased to promote its project on the analysis of current and future trends in digitalization of agricultural extension services. Via this work stream entitled Contemporary Digital Innovations and Solutions for Agricultural Extension, GFRAS aims to better understand how digitally supported agricultural extension services can support promotion of climate-resilient agricultural production, improve farmers' livelihoods, promote a more agroecological sound food production, and create job opportunities for young people. The project runs from May 2022 to August 2023 and is conducted as an iterative bottom-up joint learning process between the GFRAS networks and external stakeholders, with focus on local, interregional, and global knowledge sharing. 4 regions participate in this project: Anglophone Africa, under guidance of CIC's technologies and AFAS; Francophone Africa, led by the Cameroon Youth Initiative for Rural Development and AFAS; Southeast Asia, led by RAS, SCE, and APIRAS; and Latin America, led by Agraria and RAS. GFRAS will provide the global oversight with the support of 2 consultants. GFRAS is a network of actors and organizations working to enhance the performance of advisory services so that they can better serve farm families and rural producers, thus contributing to improved livelihoods in rural areas and the sustainable reduction of hunger and poverty. This work stream has been launched in a context where we see renewed interest in digitalization, but also challenges in infrastructure and digital literacy, a multiplicity of products, issues with sustainability and scalability of digital solutions, a fast-paced environment with ever-changing conditions, and growing questions on inclusivity and possibilities for interaction and co-creation of knowledge. Therefore, we hope to understand some essential points. What kind of agricultural extension will be needed in the future to overcome today's challenges? What is currently out there and working well? And what needs to be further developed and adapted? We hope to inform rural advisory services stakeholders, be them extension service providers, decision makers, development partners, and more, about 3 main topics. What are current potentials and challenges regarding digitalization in RAS, and how are these processes contributing to strengthening food systems? What are proven approaches to providing digitally supported and climate-relevant services working at scale that are economically viable and offer the potential to enhance the livelihoods and resilience of smallholders? And finally, the operational and institutional implications of using such digital advisory services for the extension agents and their institutions, organizations, reach and quality of their services, their agencies, and the broader ecosystem. The process to go about these questions has been co-designed with the regional networks and involves a series of steps. The first is to identify relevant local actors and mobilize them to join forces. Regions will then refine the topics to explore and deepen them with the support of these local actors. Data collection and processing is ready to begin in the region. Findings will be continuously shared via bi-monthly regional webinars. Preliminary discussions are also shared with the larger group. Based on those, questions can be deepened even further, and the analysis conducted is refined. The final regional report is produced in each of the 4 regions. They are presented on a global online series to take place in the summer of 2023. Regional reports are compiled into a global product, which is then shared with all stakeholders. This process enables that new potential areas for analysis and gaps are identified, which can continue to be explored in other possible future studies. GFRAS and its regions are currently selecting existing digital RAS solutions based on a series of criteria. Solutions must be active in the region that selects it, be beyond a startup phase, operate at scale with a minimum of 20,000 users, and ideally more than 50,000, and service smallholder farmers. In future moments, the regions will also analyze whether they include climate smart components, what is their user breakdown by gender and age, for instance, and how financially sustainable these solutions are. After these cases are selected and presented, the project can move to its further phases, with the ultimate goal of making digital services more efficient and effective in their potential to support smallholder farmers and build more sustainable and climate-smart food systems. GFRAS will continue to share the conclusions from the regions and promote the findings of this project via its website and social media, as well as of those of the regions. Stay tuned.
We hope you could hear it well. In case, of course, there are any questions or anything, we also, like we said, you can just talk or you can also put it in the chat. I see Carl has shared also the link, so feel free to look at it later and make any suggestions or share with even other partners. We hope it helps summarize what this project is about and what were the main ideas that we had when designing it together. But of course, we also want to hear it from you. What are some of the expectations regarding the process? Maybe we start with some that we have, and I think important for us is that we are very happy to see everyone here. But we hope that the regional networks, of course, remain also with ownership and overview of what is happening, because they will be the main responsible for sharing it with us so that we can share with other networks. I see, maybe before I pass the word to Carl, I see there is a question from Danilo of whether it will be translated to Spanish. I hope so. Of course, these are the things we do. They're always Creative Commons, so people are free to use them, adapt them. I can say that the reason why we made it is because we actually thought of having a video to present in the RAS meeting that will take place on the 29th. And since I won't be able to speak in it, we thought of having a video, and that's why we did it. And we thought of translating it to Spanish, but we can talk about it later. Carl, are there any? Yeah, and we will definitely share this video and with all of you. It's here in the link, and feel free to use it anywhere where you wish, in all your social media, when you send information about this to partners, or if you want to also discuss with the private sector or the people who are developing the apps. Maybe they will question why you're asking so many questions about their solutions, and this is a way to show what is it that we are trying to accomplish together.
And we will also circulate the link in an email so people get it. And this is, as Ingrid said, we decided to make this video yesterday. So thank you very much, Ingrid, for being very fast in doing these things. So this is the first version. We might, if you have things that you think is not clear enough or not correct, please send in your comments, and we will try to improve the version for sure. But maybe we should open the floor, and if there's anybody who wants to say anything about what they expect or what they see, why they see this as an interesting study, what they would like to get out of it, then we can sort of try to collect ideas. You can also put ideas into the chat if we are too many to talk, to say something about what do you think is essential to get out of this study? Why are we doing this? We do this because we have a contract with GIZ, but internally as an extension community, why are we doing this, and what is it we want to learn from this? So the floor is open if anybody wants to come in with some comments.
Marisa raised
Hi.
her hand. Yeah.
Hi, thank you. From our side, we've had several team meetings and we've been reflecting on this issue. For us, there are, I think, two important things. One is to say that we have several ongoing initiatives about digital innovations and documentation of cases and such things. But one thing that we said clearly is that we need to add value to what's already been done, and not repeat the same cases that are very well known, and not keep working on the same type of things that are going around, that are very famous, let's say, here in Latin America. So we are conducting quite an exhaustive documentation of cases and initiatives around digital innovation in the region. The other point is that we really want to focus on the part of extension, because what we, from the overview we've done, there are several initiatives that are looking into agriculture in a broader spectrum, but we try to find things that are directed to extension or to extensionists, and or to find that angle from the same initiative, because sometimes the documentation is made more from like a general agricultural perspective, but we want to come in analyzing the extension component and the tools for the extensionists. So that's been a part of what we have said. Other points that we also wanted to raise is that we are trying to cover most of the territory. So right now, we are only 2 here, but in the total team is of 4 people. So we divided the region in Central America is Danilo. In the Andean countries, we have another person that is kind of analyzing that part, and the same in the southern part, to try to not leave behind initiatives in the territorial way. So maybe those are the key points that that we have seen so far. Maybe Danilo could later complement. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Isabel. I don't have any more. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Virginia, you have your hand raised. Thank you.
Yeah, this project is an excellent platform indeed for those of us who are engaging in digital agriculture, particularly digital extension all over the world, to share our experiences and let us learn from each other, and even look into what we are all doing and come up with a pool of tools, methodologies, approaches, digital tools, methodologies or approaches, which could be put together, combined together to create that greater impact or improve access of our small farmers to technology by way of digitalization. There are many works going on around, like for example in the Philippines. I think some of this will be described later, but what would be the best combination of these tools approaches that could best provide for an effective, efficient achievement of our goals of improving the lot of our small farmers. There are many things going on around now, but what would be the best combination that we could really put forward together and, create more impact and thus improve our outreach for small farmers? Thank you, Carl.
Thank you very much, Virginia. Yes, I think in Africa alone, there are more than 400 different digital solutions, and you can't look at them. So what we are trying to say here is which ones have actually been successful and gone to scale, and what are the reasons behind that they have done that. And then looking at that in 4 different regions, 2 in Africa and in Latin America and in Asia, will maybe give us what you're talking about, Virginia, this global knowledge of how can we promote this further to help small-scale farmers. So that is really what we are not trying to look at the 400. Other people have done that. We are really trying to select the few ones which actually already works at scale, and try to look into why have this one succeeded? What is it that they have done which is functioning well? Both in communicating with the farmers, the type of services that they provide, the business package around it, all these things, which is very interesting. I see no raised hands. Please raise your hand if you want to come in with something.
Maybe just one thing to add to what you said, Carl, is that I think at a second stage, what we are also very interested in seeing is, okay, we look at these cases, the ones that are working well, and we will see, do they service the needs of the extension community or of the smallholder farmers in each of the regions? Because maybe what you will also identify is that there is a very unserved need in each of your regions when it comes to digital extension. And what could be the reasons for that? Why is no one doing that? Is maybe the extension system in the region or in the country not prepared for it? What would it take to bring it to scale? Because these are gaps that could help strengthen overall in the future the whole service delivery, and this is very important.
Yes, but if I can come in while we are waiting for hands to rise. There's an interesting clarification question from Aline in the chat, and it's regarding if we are only looking at extension, digital extension. The short answer is no, but we are not looking at, we are looking at digital solutions that have an extension component, but most often the successful digital solution covers a wide range of things. So weather forecast, market data, all these kind of things, which is bulked together. So I think there is, at least my sense without being an expert in this, is that the more comprehensive the services is, covering a lot of different demands from the farmers, including advice, the more likely they are to be used by the farmers. The farmers cannot have 10 different apps, one for weather, one for market, one for advice, one for input supply. So I would say the criteria is that in the digital app, there is a component of extension in it, but it does not mean that it should only be about extension. It can be much broader digital service provisions with an extension component. If anybody disagree, you are welcome to speak out.
Hello, Carl.
Yes, please.
Carl, I think the question is, are we limiting ourselves to agricultural extension?
So it's not horticulture and silviculture and or what? I don't know what is with you. So what other extensions is it in aquaculture or in or what do you mean by?
It could be in the field of health extension, tourism extension.
No, we are not looking at that. No,
okay,
we are not looking at that. It is in agriculture. That's the mandate we have.
Okay, that's clear enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Citi, please come in.
Yeah, I think agriculture we can see agriculture as a system, So not only in food crop side, but also we can see agriculture in broader means relate to fishery, and also relate to agroforestry, and also relate to rural system. So it is a kind of interlink between human activity in rural, but focusing on agriculture in broader meaning. So we can see cattle raiser, animal husbandry or animal science, something like that, because it's also part of agriculture. So not only focus on horticulture and food crop, but agriculture as a system from subsystem of input, subsystem of the process, and also subsystem of market. This kind of agriculture linked to connectivity between human farmers, female farmers, youth in agriculture, and their way to raise animal and also plant to help fiber, food, energy, and also fuel. Yeah, I think this a kind of 4F for agriculture, if I'm not mistaken, from time to time to fulfill human need and also industry. That's from my side.
Thank you, Siti. Yeah, I would agree. It's the whole agri-food sector we are looking at, but not the health sector and other sectors.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Anybody else who wants to come with some input to what they've seen they will gain from this? Why is this interesting to you guys? And ladies, sorry, that's American expression, to you people. We heard so far from Latin America and from Asia. Any reflections from the participants from Africa?
Yes, so I want to also indicate some few reflections from Africa as well. So I think that this is particularly very important and very timely as well, particularly against the backdrop of COVID-19 and the current supply shocks in the agri-food system. Digital innovations become really, really very important in our current dispensation. More so, given the current deficit of agricultural extension officers to farmers, the ratio appears to be not something good to write home about. And digital innovation comes in handy to be able to step in the gap that exists. So I strongly believe that this study is timely and really right for us to commission such a study, to be able to use digital innovation to be able to step in the gap and actually look at some associated opportunities and challenges that comes with digital innovation. Even though we have high hopes to be able to bridge this gap with digital innovation, some challenges are also quite practical that needs to be addressed. For instance, issues about the needed infrastructure to be able to support digital innovation in sub-Saharan Africa is something which is very important for us to be able to consider. And I strongly believe that this study will come out with very revealing challenges and opportunities that digital innovation offers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Just for how many different digital services do you think there is in Ghana? You don't need to have an accurate figure, but just how many operators do you have who provide services, some kind of digital services in the agricultural sector?
I think that currently we have more than 10 that provides these services. Okay. But looking closely at some of the criteria that was presented in the video, I think that we're looking about trying to look at digital innovation that reach about 20,000 to 50,000 farmers. I want to presume that this includes both direct and indirect beneficiaries.
It should be users of the service, not the beneficiary, not people who, so somebody who use the digital service. So it really have to be the ones who have gone to scale.
Okay.
But I mean, subscribers, maybe they are not all active users. I think that's another tendency, that there might be, you know, you might have 50,000, but out of that, only a percentage of those are using the service regularly. So like with everything else digital, many subscribe, but not always people are using, but at least the subscribers, because if you're just talking about secondary beneficiaries, then the numbers can go very high. If you say each household have 10 people or something like that, so you can easily go to high numbers that way. It's really digital tools that works large scale.
I think this is also, we will also see as you look at the solutions existing in the country, if the numbers are not reaching at scale, why is it, right? And it can be that there are very successful, well-functioning solutions in a determined country that doesn't have 20,000 users, but has 10,000 users. And I think we start with those criteria, and the criteria discussion will be the next point in our agenda. We start with those criteria just really so we can funnel it down, right? Because as we said, there's just so much out there, but it is really a starting point. And at a second stage, we can really look at the solutions that have been selected in more detail and more clearly to try and understand what is it that makes them relevant in the extension context, and what sort of changes or what sort of transformation they are bringing.
Yeah, and of course, it's easy maybe to get 10,000 people or 20,000 people in Bangladesh, but in northern Ghana, it will be difficult to find so many small-scale farmers. So it's also, I mean, we also have to be a little bit adjusting to the reality on the ground. If it's a densely populated agricultural area or scarcely populated, also the pampas in Latin America will have much more scarcity in the number of farmers per square kilometer or things like that, or the total number of farmers. So this is just, I think we should, if there's no more comments to the reason why we are doing it, maybe we should go to the next agenda point, which is exactly what criteria should be used for the selection. And we already been discussing that to some degree. Any comments on that from anyone? Something you have discussed already in the regions?
Carlos, maybe you can put up the agenda again so we can see, because the criteria is also listed there just for visibility.
Okay, 2 seconds. So, active in your region, operating at scale, and gone beyond the startup phase, and servicing smallholder farmers. That's the ones that we have put up initially.
This is what we would like you to consider for, say, the conversation that we will have next Thursday. Is there a way to make that screening already? What do you know? Maybe we'll say, look, following this criteria, that can be something that happens next week. Following this criteria, we still identified in our region 50 apps, or I don't know, 30, 50 apps. And how else would we go about it, right? So this is just the initial selection points, and then we can see, we also listed a few others in the video where we're talking about, are they really financially sustainable? Can we look at the breakdown of users to understand whether there is, for instance, a balance between male and female users or age groups? Are apps that are reaching beyond a younger share of the population, or how climate smart, or how much do they integrate in terms of climate smart agriculture in the apps? But this is not for next week, right? For next week, we're talking really only about this 3 or 4 criteria.
You have a broad screening. Marisa, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, I could say that we also discussed this about in our team. This number is quite big for us. I think that only in Brazil, that it's a huge country and with a lot of population, we could really fulfill the criteria. But we were thinking to make an adaptation to that number because it's relative to the number of smallholders in the country. So to give you an example, Chile, I think it has 110,000 smallholders. So 50,000 would be having half of them in the initiative. So it's really not working. But we take the idea that you want big initiatives that are already working, not pilot things that are just small initiatives here and there, but that you want things that we should document things that are working and sustainable and ongoing. So I think that that's the message that we are going to get from that point. For us, it was also very important, this thing about the smallholders. So we are really considering that because there are initiatives that are covering like bigger producers that I think are not very relevant for this study. And what we are doing now, it's through a survey, we are capturing most of the initiatives that we can. And there we are asking like the number of producers, the areas that it's covering, the type of tools that the digital tool is having, because there are some that are, I don't know, just to give you an example, only a WhatsApp application, but some others are kind of complex that have like an app, a web page, and also these messages. So trying to capture the complexity of the different things that are going around. I think maybe Danilo can also complement there, like the other things we discussed that were important. Thank you.
Yeah. We're discussing the different criteria. This is the first. Not all countries have a producer, and another situation is there are digital innovation at 3 levels. First level is to digital innovation to the producer, only the producer. The digital innovation from to extensionists and producer, and other digital innovation is more is to most people. So we are discussing right now, and the first step is looking for all actors that working in Latin America, and after we discuss with the criteria, regional criteria and interest of the extensionists to choose every digital innovation, and after discuss specifically with them. So we're discussing, we're continuing discussing the criteria because it's very important define our criteria, looking for the problem, the opportunity, or the case of service in Latin America. This is the idea right now, and the team are discussing the topic. Thank you.
Sorry, I just want to compliment because I lose Danilo for a short minute, and I think he was saying something important. So we find that there are 3 different levels. So one is to producers, the tools that are reaching producers. The others are reaching extensionists. And the thirds are more like hubs that are connecting stakeholders in regions. So, or in territories. So are tools that are kind of linking producers, input providers, commercialization. So those are kind of the 3 type of innovations, digital innovations that are around. So
yeah, community digital innovation hub.
Okay, thank you. And maybe also have you also looked into what degree that people are using existing social media and not sort of apps developed just for extension, but using WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter or whatever they have, these people, because there might be I don't know, but there might be an easy win to do agriculture extension just using the social platforms, if that is very, very common used in your area. I know that WhatsApp in Africa are used for very many things, for example. So it's something that you should not neglect when you are looking for. Don't just look at the big companies and their digital solution. I mean, the ones specifically working in digital agriculture. There might be a lot of things happening with the farmers. So when you talk with small-scale farmers or with the extension officers, they might use some existing social media to actually use as a platform for peer learning and extension. Anybody else who wants to come in? I see no hands raised right now.
Carl and Ingrid and also colleagues, we try to start identification for the digital RAS. May I permit it to be present for a while, just shortly?
Yes, please, please.
What we are doing up to date, because we are afraid that we are asked to present what we have so far. So I asked colleagues yesterday and also today to share with us, with Rasi here. Sorry, just for a minute. Yeah.
You should be able to share now.
Yeah, just a temporary result from us, because we are trying to collect some data and information regarding digital RAS. So this picture was yesterday, yeah. So we met in our campus yesterday and also discussed some of the digital RAS in Indonesia and the Philippines. But because we are in Indonesia, so I asked Eric Palakpak, also Arlen, to share with us about the digital RAS that can be sent to us in the very tight time, because we need to meet with the team actually before sharing this. Even the meeting will be online. So for temporary some result of digital RAS in Indonesia, we try to make a simple chart. Thank you, Alia, to help me in doing this. So from our identification in Indonesia, from 3 days up to day, we find that the providers, mostly from various institutions, and the government contribute to 20% of as the providers, and also higher education contribute to 11% of the digital RAS, and private sector also high because they have capital to the technology and investment in the resource, competent resource person in managing the application. And the number of users, we haven't used your criteria actually about the number, because we receive various number of users. Then we tried just to initial identification for digital RAS. So we found that 44% of the application have been used by more than 20,000 farmers or users, and the other is still below the criteria set by Carl and Jeffras. So this is an example of, I think, a bit ambitious, but this is the fact that a training for 1 million farmers and extension workers have been a program from a Ministry of Agriculture in Indonesia, and this program is still ongoing, and you can later on see from the website about the training for 1 million farmers and extension workers. Maybe later on Rani, or also Rani Haidirsa and also FC later on can share about this more, because this is related to their institution. And interestingly, we also find the research centers in Bandung, capital of West Java, the application called My Agri, with more than 20,000 users, actually around 30,000 users, focusing on vegetable farmers. And interestingly, this application have been made possible because of development partner collaboration between the ministry and Wageningen University in Netherlands. So I think there is a kind of link and connectivity between two countries, between Indonesia and the Netherlands. And we have the contact person of this. Thank you for Lani Eugenia for sharing this during our discussion. And interestingly, also we have Mercy Corps in Indonesia, and also in Aceh we have Swiss contact, and also in some of our region, but the user is below 20,000. Yeah, Swiss contact, an NGO from Swiss. So Mercy Corps have various program focusing on farmers empowerment. More than 500,000 farmers under COVID-19 effect, the program, and there are so many programs. And we plan to invite Andi Ihwan from Mercy Corps, that also our colleague from GPRAS. Andi Ihwan also participating in some of the GPRAS annual meeting previously. And globally, Mercy Corps linked to the US, United States. It's more than 50 million around the world. The people reached across the world in the last year. And this is from the Philippines. Thank you, Eric and colleagues from the Philippines, for sharing with us about some digital platform of agricultural extension in the Philippines. For example, RAS BSA with the 13 million farmers, and field support registered as of 2016. Very interesting, yeah, about the registry system for the basic sectors in agriculture. This thing, and also application related to crop manager advisory services using personal computer and smartphone in the Philippines. And very interesting with so many facility of services. And also this is a kind of information provided at a municipal level about the information related to the area covers, about the application that showing the coverage. Later on, maybe Eric can also speak on this. E-learning, I also found this in the website, very interesting, is also found in cyber extension in Indonesia, consisting of learning and advisory services. So this is with more than 20,000 users. Yes, we are still identifying more application or more digital extension in the region. This is what we call it in the Philippines, the bahasa Philippine, Tagalog, Binhing Palay, with the users more than 40,000, with total screen view more than 4 million viewers. So I think that's all from our side. So we're still progressing, Carl and also colleagues. If if one of you from the Philippines, also from Indonesia and Malaysia will add, may Carl or Ingrid allow them to speak. Okay,
sure,
thank you.
please, the floor is open.
Thank you, Carl.
Yes, please.
Eric or
Can you hear me? Please speak. Please
yes,
speak.
I listen to you. Maybe colleagues from the Philippines and also from Malaysia or Indonesia would add some more information, please. Thank you. Yeah, Eric.
I'm Rani from Indonesia. Yeah. Okay. So, is Eric want to speak first or?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes, of course. I think because due to the COVID-19, so virtual learning in Ministry of Agriculture provide more activities by virtual activities, especially for the extension workers as well as farmers. So we have like a system for virtual learning. So for example, extensionists which is want to learn about certain technology, so they can apply the application to attend the virtual learning. And also for the farmers. So the capacity, improve the capacity of extension and the farm. Is as after they have a training, after they got the virtual training, we don't have enough times or enough activities. Know what is the level of the capacity of at the level of the skill of the farmers as well as the extensionists. That is our problem now. So we try to make it shaping the activities of the training into the priority technology. So I think that is our problem after the 1 million training, virtual training. And secondly, I consider about the use of the WhatsApp, the other media, social media. I think it's I think now it's quite effective because it's cheaper and also is have spread information rather than to have a training or to attend a training of the government. I think that is my information about the activities, virtual activities. And also we have another platform, which is not only for learning, but also for financial inclusion, also for the marketing and how to the networking the farmer. I think that is will be get into our study. Yeah, I think that's all. Maybe from the Philippines have another experience for that. Thank you.
Yes, Ma'am Arlene, would you like to share?
Okay, so we have given that as our initial report, that one reported by Ma'am City. But I have two concerns here that I would like to clarify. Of course, you had answered one of my questions, if it is going to be really limited to agricultural extension. Because in the Philippines, we have agritourism under the tourism department that also covers agriculture. So they're actually helping promote agricultural technologies side by side with tourism. So they have the digital extension interventions in there. So I believe that it should be also included as part of it, because we are talking about digitalized extension, of course, related to agriculture. It's not totally tourism. So that's what I was pointing out in my question. I feel it should also be included in what we are trying to gather. And then the second point is, of course, you have your criteria, 20,000 and above beneficiaries. Are we not also interested, if you can see the report of Indonesia, they have placed there less than 20,000. And I believe that, I feel that we should also account those because they are ongoing. And these are already here as digitalized extension interventions. Only they have not met the requirement of 20,000. I'm curious why we are limiting it to 20,000. Because I believe that we should also account these ones below 20,000 because it's still ongoing. It's ongoing and it is there already as an established intervention. So those are the things I was thinking about while I was listening to all these reports. I think it's, I don't know what is the purpose of GFRAS actually for limiting it to 20,000. But I just believe that we have to also account even those not reaching 20,000 yet because it is ongoing. And there are those that being prepared for rollout. Maybe I think even if we categorize them, as long as we are going to account for, we are going to establish these ones. Actually, in our country forum, we are considering this as one study because included in our operational plan and our annual action plan is the conduct of extension research. And this is the research that we are going to undertake this year, hopefully along with this project. That's why we're very much interested to join this project because we also ourselves in the Philippines would like to establish this. So we were thinking we will categorize, okay, we will go with your 20,000 beneficiaries requirement, but still we would like to also account those below 20,000 yet so that we can have really a picture of what is the level or the status of our digital extension in the Philippines. So far, no study has yet been done on this. So we hope that GFRAS will also, RASI will also support us along this line. I know that this is now the trend now, the information highway. I think there's no other way. The pandemic has taught us that lesson in the Philippines when all of a sudden it was a lockdown. So we really need this one.
Thank you.
So I think that's what I would like to share.
Okay, thank you very much, Elena. We are running out of time. Thank you very much, Appearance and RAS for the presentation. I have asked the city to send it to us. You already did. So Ingrid and I will share it with the rest of you for inspiration for next week, because this is exactly what we are going to talk about next week. And yes, there is boundaries, and you can say in some areas 20,000 is not the right numbers, but we are not trying to make a mapping of all what is going on. We are really trying to look at what is functioning already now at scale, and then pick a few cases of them to study in depth. Why are they functioning? What is it that they do that works? Because as I said, in Africa, there's maybe 400 different digital attempts to make digital services to farmers, but only maybe less than 50 of those 400 or 500, 10% maybe comes out and work. And it is those 10% that are interesting. It's not the 90% that failed that are interesting. It is the 10, because a lot of studies have been done on those also. So it's really what is it that works at scale and why does it work at scale that we are trying to look at here. And of course, there will be boundaries to other sectors, as you say. Ingrid, do you want to have some closing next steps?
Yeah, I think not just commenting on this also, I think the comment from Marisa and Relazé was very central as to how we are looking at these numbers. This is a guidance linking to everything else that Carl has already said on what is it that we want to see works. And most importantly, also because at a second stage, we want to see how does this actually impact the extension system, the public extension system in a country. And if it's, an app that maybe doesn't really have a major impact, it won't really have any consequences in how people deal with extension in a given area. So that is also why. In terms of closing, so once again, We will share everything that we have received today and that we have distributed today. We will send you the link of the video separately. We will send you this presentation and the reminder for next week's meeting, also with what is it that we want to achieve. You have received this email with all the 3 webinars that we have planned, or conversations that we have planned, but we will send you reminders of those. From an organizational matter, what I said in the beginning, I'll just repeat. So those of you who still did not send me the banking or the financial information, please do that so we can send the payments for everyone. And of course, the list of all the email addresses of who needs to be informed. We'll create a short mailing list that we can use and keep ourselves informed and keep ourselves, keep communicating regarding this. We will meet again and then see who is going to be there to discuss these cases. We will meet again next Thursday at the same time. Right.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I know it's late in Indonesia and the Philippines, and you're just starting the day in Latin America. So thank you, everybody. Take care and hope to see you all again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a good day or good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Virginia. See you next week.
you.
Bye, everyone.